welcome back. Next up is Richard from Zodion, and they're an expert in building smart city applications around LoRaWAN, and he's going to tell you everything around it. Enjoy his talk.
Hello, my name's Richard Perry, and I work for Zodion Limited, based in the UK. Thank you very much for having me today. I am head of business development for Zodion, and Zodion have been installing smart lighting in 868 and 915 megahertz formats for 12 years or so, and have about 500,000 or so controlled street lights in our service platforms. So we were well versed in connected lighting, wireless products, and particularly street lighting. And one of our larger projects a few years ago in an area of the southwest of England, Cornwall, came to us with a challenge. And the challenge was to add other devices to our wireless network that we put across a large area for street lighting purposes. And that challenge was to include water pump monitoring solution for the LoRaWAN. And we looked at it, and we went to and fro with the project to see if we could make it cost effective for obviously ourselves and for the customer. At the end of the day, we realized that even though we were engineers and we were trying to develop a product and a solution, we were probably asking ourselves the wrong question. And the right question was really, what was the radio protocol that we should have been using? And at the time, we were using a proprietary 868 megahertz WiMAX protocol, which was something we developed ourselves with partners. And it was a proprietary system that only really allowed us to control effectively street lighting. So that's when we started our journey to work towards finding what would be a good open protocol that we could use. And we, after a lot of soul searching and technical assessment, landed on LoRaWAN. And like many people at the conference, we are not alone in our appreciation of what LoRaWAN can bring. And what LoRaWAN gives us and our customers really is freedom of choice. And that for the city or the municipality or the county allows the end user to choose not just which radio network it uses, obviously, but what solution it may sit on that radio network, how reliable that network is in a secure way, and also gives the end user a sort of guarantee of business continuity and the ownership of a radio infrastructure that it can use to deploy many smart city elements. Of course, at Zodion, we focus very strongly on street lighting, and that's why we believe that street lighting is fundamental to a lot of the LoRaWAN projects that we get involved with. The street lighting is important to LoRaWAN because of some of the main benefits that it brings immediately to any deployment. Carbon reduction and energy reduction are very much the forefront of it, particularly when rolled out with LED lighting technology, which is what we see, this pattern of behavior where local authorities and cities deploy new LED technology and also include CMS control devices on that. It also means that you reduce your maintenance costs by reducing visits, giving the user more granularity, more accurate inventory reporting, and remote monitoring, giving real sort of informed data about the state of your inventory and the state of your lighting. And then some less obvious efficiency gains, stock management, warranty, behavior, and some of the fundamentals that allow for a large scale control system to allow the cities to optimize their management of their inventory. CMS and LED deployment for street lighting can bring some large scale savings in terms of energy reduction. 75% is not unheard of. So smart lighting makes a lot of control a lot of sense for the control of lighting, and something that we're seeing more and more in the tenders that are being released. So the lamppost is becoming fundamental in parts of smart cities. It gives a sort of unique platform for smart city management, as many people will be aware, not just for the lighting infrastructure, of course, but a powered infrastructure within a city that appears along the street every 30 meters or so on average, and at heights of anywhere between 6 meters, 8 meters, 10, 12, 15, 30 meters for some places. So we get some good radio coverage for these devices, of course, but also places where we can hang other devices, things that are powered. So we're not relying so much on battery technology. And it's this unique structure that cities have that they can leverage for IoT and smart cities. Now, some of the main principles involved with what we wanted to achieve on our new platform, which we have named Key, are the openness and the scalability. So these projects need to be hundreds of thousands of street light nodes in potential, if necessary. Many cities and towns have multiple dozens of thousands of street lights. Of course, it needs to reflect, the system needs to reflect the capability to control those, not just to monitor, but also to get information down to these nodes quickly. We're finding that in this new environment, interoperability is very important. So we collaborate with many companies to deliver these projects, not least people like TTN and the people who provide the networks. And of course, this is all rolled into in a secure place where these large deployments can be used to deploy many smart city solutions. We get involved with air quality sensing. As a company, we produce a lot of the infrastructure for EV charging. We control school control units and festive decorations for some things. And we also monitor road surface temperature, and started now with working with partners to do gully monitoring, which is becoming increasingly important as we move forward. And what do we solve in lighting terms? Well, some of the main drivers for the inception of lighting controls are reduction of energy consumption, understanding the state of the network, and understanding how you can reduce maintenance costs. And our hardware allows us to do that by some of the hardware functions that we've got in each of our control devices. The node you can see in the top right of the screen there is a LoRaWAN enabled node. Inside there's an integrated photocell, an accelerometer for position. Each one can receive firmware updates over the air, which is fundamental in a smart city environment. Of course, some of the basic lighting controls, lighting, adaptive lighting, trimming, policies and scheduling is very important as well. We dim via the interface with protocols like DALI and 1 to 10 volts. Each of the nodes is Class C, as you'd expect in this environment, and we can do multicast. We're leading the way with large-scale multicast in some of our examples. And things like power failure and power monitoring, GPS and Bluetooth are fundamentally important. And I think that these are some of the functions that some of our bigger customers have come to appreciate. And we've got a short video here from Alan Preece, who's the senior lighting engineer in Bradford Council, who are just on a LoRaWAN deployment of their own. And I'll let Alan tell you a little bit more about some of the things to consider when installing a wireless LoRaWAN system and how that may work.
The top 5 points that I would suggest people think about when they're embarking on a project like this. First of all, get support from senior management. If you don't get the buy-in from senior management, it's just going to be an uphill struggle to get the project off the ground. The second point would be clear and identify what you're implementing and why you're implementing it. In terms of our CMS system, it was about making sure that we put something in place that we can control the lighting which then gives us a future-proof solution and gives us control of the energy consumption. Third point, if it is about making savings, quantify those savings financially wherever possible. There's obviously things around the periphery in terms of benefits, etc. But to try and get the project approved, it's all about, if you can quantify financial savings and costs, it makes it so much easier to get approval. I guess the fourth point would be, don't get sidetracked. Stick with your guns. If you've got a clear vision of the project, don't let other people put you off what your vision is trying to achieve. There's that many different technologies out there. You could easily get completely sidetracked and go off at a tangent. And the last one would be, don't lose sight of what you're trying to achieve. Be brave, stick with it, and don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to pick the wrong solution. At the end of the day, trying to achieve something on this scale, it's a massive undertaking. And if you're going to be one of the trailblazers, there's going to be mistakes along the way. But if you didn't try it, we'd still be doing what we're doing now.
So Alan's talking there a little bit about some of the considerations for when you're starting out on a deployment. And we've been working with, of course, other councils before Alan has understood the benefits of LoRaWAN. And one of the councils we're working with one of our partners is an outfit in Aberdeen, Aberdeen City Council, who have 32,000 streetlights under their control. And within that, about 20,000 are now LoRaWAN controlled as they accelerate towards what they're doing. And it's a large scheme that we're very pleased about. There's 17,000 currently installed, another 3,000 to go in the next month or so. They're achieving at least 60% by the addition of CMS to their LED inventory, and they believe that the cost savings and the extra solutions that they can deploy on the LoRaWAN are going to be a huge benefit for the city. So they're currently looking at not only street lighting, but they are now monitoring river flow, as Aberdeen is the convergence of two rivers, water level, waste monitoring. And that's done through a collaboration with a partner who is North Tech, formerly Pinnacle, and they are the network operator in that particular zone, and have deployed the smart lighting with our help for Aberdeen City. And these types of tenders and installations are becoming more common. It's not unusual for us to now see smart lighting, smart cities, open protocol, open standard being listed as requirements on tenders throughout the world that would normally be traditional proprietary systems. And our final gambit is that if you are going to install a smart lighting system, and a smart lighting wireless network, why not make it an open standard one? Why not make it a LoRaWAN one? Make the infrastructure work for you. But most of all, get it started. Thank you very much.